waiting to do battle on the sports field. Plenty in the stands too. There's the home side. 5 changes from last week. Each forward line has got a change. Ivan Nema in there for his first start. Canoni and Licata get their starts as well. And then out the backs, Marisi into the midfield, and all Benetton 10 to 14 because Padovani comes in on the right wing this afternoon. For the visitors, well, Mario Ledesma makes 2 personnel and 1 positional change. Marcus Kremer moves up into the second row in the absence of Petty with that knee problem. Juan Martin Gonzalez comes in at open side, therefore. And then in the back, Santiago Cordero gets the call on the right wing to replace Bautista Del Gui. A familiar look, though, to that back line otherwise. On the benches, well, could be huge days for Giovanni Pettinelli, Alessandro Fusco and Ignacio Cages if they get to step over the white line to make their international debuts. There's our referee, James Dolman, making his second test appearance this afternoon with Paul Williams and Ben Blaine. His assistants, Brendan Pickrell, another Kiwi, will be in the truck as the television match official.
30.
A big 80 minutes ahead for both these teams. Well, they've waited since 2001 to get international rugby here at the Estadio do Monigo. They've got it back. Can the Azzurri put smiles on the faces of the Trevisians? This is going to be an intriguing clash in so many ways because, Tom May, there's so many similarities between the two teams.
What similarities, not only in the way that we see the teams as they come into this game, as we see the Italians get a fantastic turnover just on the Argentinian 22, but there's so many players that are in similar stages of their careers. I'm intrigued to see Paolo Garbisi go up against Santiago Carreras today. Carreras obviously traditionally has played on the wing. He's been switched in and made a big difference straight out of the blocks, didn't he, for the Argentinians? But interesting hearing Ledesma just before kickoff.
That was a damning indictment, wasn't it, to say that the plan wasn't put into operation.
Yeah, he said he didn't deliver last week what they had put in place. So is there pressure mounting on him as a young player?
Come up.
Well, you look at the caps, much as the age is similar, 224 caps in the Italian ranks, 617 for the Pumas. So in terms of international rugby experience, there's only one team in it. But, as they say, the only way to learn is to get out there and play.
Well, they're both generally taking part in 2 very tough competitions, aren't they? The Italians finding it very difficult within the Six Nations year on year, as the Argentinians do in the Rugby Championship. But surely both teams will learn a lot from playing at that sort of level, game in, game out.
Stephen Varney with the feed. Licata just trying to get the ball back and need the pick up from the Zebre man. Padovani getting an early touch in for Mori on the flank this afternoon.
No! Right.
The breakdown is, as ever, going to be so critical, in the way it's refereed by James Dolman as well. Turnover ball for Argentina.
Brilliant from Julian Montoya. Straight in over the ball.
A clearance from Carreras. Boffelli. Minozzi, I beg his pardon, going to test those at the back, and indeed it's Carreras who sits there in a familiar position, of course. Earning his 18th cap this afternoon. 5 of them have been on the wing, 5 have been at fullback. 3 subs places and now 5 in the 10 shirt.
We play on, no knock on.
Facundo Isa picks up the scraps but finds two Italian props ready to scrag him.
Well, we saw this, didn't we, in the early stages last week in Rome. The Italians were straight out of the blocks against the All Blacks, did brilliantly for 30 minutes and then fell away. How will they go this afternoon here at Stadio Amigo?
Minozzi in good position and again swings that left boot there, through the ball. There's his opposite number, Emiliano Boffelli.
Almost an exact replica, isn't it, of those opening exchanges last week. Some good defence from the Italians. Argentina not really getting over the gain line, and a turnover again and a penalty.
It's Mario Ledesma urgently getting messages down to the front line, so to speak. But again, great work this time. It was Ignacio Brex, one of the two Argentines in the Italian ranks this afternoon.
He was outstanding last week. Not only in and around the breakdown is he a pain in the backside, but also defensively very, very sound. Almost reminded me of an old school Alan Bateman.
Yeah, I see where you're coming from.
Makes his tackles nice and low, gets back to his feet, next job.
I'll get them in. Watch our numbers.
So the first set piece opportunity for the home side.
Hold there.
Gianmarco Lucchesi, the Benetton hooker, one of 9 Benetton boys playing on their home ground. Garvisi used to be one, of course, but now at Montpellier, the hack through. Ioane is under pressure here, does very well. Montigiani was one of the standouts for the Azzurri last week, but the turnover is there. Isa slapped forward by Lamano, and the knock-on's been spotted. Kubeli wants to play though. Santiago Carreras into that midfield. Matera trying to turn Garbisi. Garbisi back to Minozzi, and the 10 and 15 working well there to escape.
Well, 10 and 15 working well to escape, but that is a brilliant kick from Pablo Matera. Well, he's Argentinian. No, he's Argentinian, isn't he? Brought up in the football.
Yeah.
Look at that. Just put it on the left peg. He'll probably find out he's right-footed. But look where it bounces. Old school coffee corner. The Italians did brilliantly to get it away, as you say.
Isa trying to put De La Fuente in on the crash ball. Argentina into the Italian 22. Montoya, such an inspirational captain. Moroni. Kubeli feeds back into the forwards, led by Facundo Isa. What a number 8 he is. Maybe not the biggest of men, but my goodness me, gets them over the gain line 9 times out of 10.
He's pretty big.
Big enough. Just the over-ambition there from Matera. Frustrating Ledesma and co. Just above us in their coaching box. I hope they're not going to start throwing things.
We might get very wet in a minute. They're the areas that I think both teams need to be really patient. They've gone through a lot of phases.
The previous 2 times you hold them, so no,
Need to keep applying pressure to the opposition.
Match up, boys.
Make them make a mistake. Perhaps earn yourself a penalty. But tossing the ball away like Pablo Matera did there, that's no good.
The Italian line-out was a real cause for concern last week. 1-10 but lost 5, and Lucchesi really couldn't hit his mark.
Clear lift.
Found his man then, but...
Same as over there, a clear lift on the ball.
Yeah, referee laying down the law
but you held on
to those Italian breakaways, and it was the skipper on that occasion.
I think as Luca Morisi took the ball in, he cut such a tight angle. He did get himself isolated. It's just meant much harder for the back row to get there on time. For the Italians, they only need half a second, don't they? Back rowers nowadays, especially that man. Michele Namaro set a fantastic example, I think, last week in Rome. Big carries, worked tirelessly in defence.
If not, I agree.
Emiliano Boffelli with his first pot at the posts.
So then Don't hold him in. He can get out. You play quick.
Kick last week, of course, at the Stade de France. Hit the post, bounced out, and I think it was Kubeli, wasn't it? After Matera charged down. And the first try was on the board for the Pumas. Not quite to plan. More traditional 3 points on offer now. No. Not to be. And the Argentine fans sit on their hands.
Yeah.
Well, the Italians better be careful, because that went about 20 metres over the other side of the
Behind your
post.
kicker.
And he hit that from a very long way out. So discipline is going to be key. They gave 15 penalties away last week against New Zealand, did the Italians.
Santiago Carreras hangs one high. Great take from Buffelli. The offload is there for Crema. Crema scored against Italy last time. That was the only time he got over the whitewash. He's done it again. Deja vu for Marcos Crema. And a great return from the disappointment of missing the penalty for the Pumas.
Almost like they meant it. Emiliano Buffelli, eyes on the prize, never took his eyes off that ball, and the ability to get the ball away out of the tackle from Garbisi, left-handed to Kramer. Look out. Oh, Stephen Varney, smallest man probably in the whole stadium, has a go at bringing him down.
Human backpack, wasn't he? There was no chance of.
He's probably smaller than your
that.
backpack.
Well, it was last week that Buffelli's penalty led to Kubeli's try. He's missed again off the tee and inadvertently set up the first try this afternoon, adds the conversion. And there was Argentina really providing a potent thrust when given the opportunity. And it doesn't get much more potent than 6'7", 115 kilos of Argentinian beef coming at you.
Yeah, Buffelli dominated that aerial battle, didn't he? Created the space against Minozzi, probably the second smallest player on the field.
Hold there. You're on now.
Well, fascinating to see how the Pumas executed that opportunity. I mean, we were praising at this point the Uzuri defence last week against the All Blacks.
It was a moment of brilliance, though, that, wasn't it, from Buffelli?
Time's off. Time off. And when time's on, I'll put you on the line, okay?
It's so difficult. It's a balance, isn't it, when Minozzi's brilliant with ball in hand, quick, very, very agile, creates opportunities. There's one thing he's always going to find hard, though, that's dominating that aerial space, especially against someone like Buffelli.
Okay.
Well, I wondered when Crowley picked Eduardo Padovani, who we've seen play fullback several times, whether he was expecting a kicking battle with the Argentinian back three and fly half. And certainly the ball has seen plenty of air inside the first 10 minutes.
Sit.
Again, line out not working for the home side, but they
tackle
turned around the contact there. Kremer with the clear out. And again, Carreras putting pressure, this time on Minozzi. Good work from the Wasps man. Kept his eye on the ball and was not going to let that go.
He did well to bounce back. Certainly would have been running through his mind.
Use!
Oh, Kramer on that clear out as well. Pretty much did it one hand.
Good work from the Argentinian fullback this time. Buffelli secure, but the breakdown
on the ball.
Not being allowed to clear. I think it was Nema, wasn't it? The loose head getting the congratulations of his new teammates. Nema, born in Mar del Plata in Argentina, and getting his first test start this afternoon against, of course, his fellow countrymen.
Okay. Just come back, fellas. All good, then.
Thomas Lavanini earning his 67th cap. No Guido Petti, of course, this afternoon. That knee injury at the Stade de France. And
Advantage.
Matthias Alemano was also
Hold, advantage over.
not involved in this
All
group
on.
for this tournament. Again, the Azzurri line out. Not providing ball, the charge down is there. Kremer coming through, Ioane has to pick up the bits. All he can see is blue and white in front of him, and they're not teammates.
Did brilliantly again though, didn't he? He's got a strong fend, buys himself time, allows his teammates to get back and support. The Italians under real pressure. Guess who charged that down? Kremer. He is everywhere at the moment.
Well, I guess you put Kremer into the engine room and effectively you have 4 back rowers, don't you? With the way that he plays.
Yeah, he's an athlete, isn't he?
Come in. Gap's
Massive, massive slab of meat.
We have Maul. It's in the 5.
Montoya comes
Down by
round to
1.
take possession, but the Maul is not going to go any further. De La Fuente. Montoya again. Such inspirational captains, more often than not for Argentina. They appear to be at hooker. You think Ledesma, of course, the coach, Gus Creevy as well. Talk
Not
about
on the ball
leading
there.
from the front.
I reckon Creevy could still do a job as well. Seen him a couple of times this season.
Ferreras
No advantage.
playing
Back line,
on the
offside.
advantage call from the referee.
Pillar, so we go back. Okay. It was the pillar close to the ruck. Yes, offside. Offside
So that first defender,
from the ruck.
pillar defender.
This
For
is the
those
mark.
that haven't heard that term,
Mark's
he's
here.
the
Back.
defender that arguably has the easiest job in the book.
Hey,
Stand
we
next to
make
the
call.
ruck and
We'll
don't
talk
move.
later.
Shopping trolley, isn't it?
Yeah.
Don't you just...
Shot.
Yeah,
Shot called,
I mean,
just take a step, guys.
isn't
you
that
would
what the
never
boys
say
call
you
it?
just lead and have a
Yeah,
rest,
cool.
but basically you're leading and having a rest.
Perfect. Shot called.
I was never in there.
Never got near enough.
Never got the chance to have a rest.
So
No, the
Boffelli
forwards,
going to
with the
line
back
up
on side,
his
so it's not
third
a
kick
timing one, you need to take an extra step.
of the afternoon.
7 or 2. He didn't see it.
And the brittle confidence that we spoke about is beginning to impact on the home side, you would think, when they see the scoreboard. If we now see Argentina in double figures, only a quarter of an hour gone on the clock.
Sorry, it was number 8,
Boffelli
and
sends
was
it to the
pillar.
city centre, and the Argentine flags are fluttering in the stands.
They faced different problems last week. New Zealand tried to shift the ball about, tried to play to the edges, attack with pace. A bit more expansive style of play. This is all about brute physicality at the moment from the Argentinians.
Well, you look at the stats from the Stade de France, and there was only, I think, 3 offloads from the Pumas in the entire match. Yes, it was a tough day at the office, but they were in it for pretty much 10 minutes of the game. They were within 1 score of their
Hold
hosts.
their whites.
Now they've
Camera
made
on.
a couple of offloads already in the first quarter of an hour of this game. Does that indicate that
watch
they're
that. I think you
looking
do
to
the
play
same
a
thing
slightly
in
more
the
fluid
first
game,
half.
or are they
You do the
being
same.
allowed
Watch it.
to play that?
I think it's a mixture of two. We mentioned it before the game started, didn't we, Simon? We were saying,
You guys can look as well, eh?
is it a sign of how they are just focusing on a physical game where they just make big carries, get over the gain line? You have to balance that with the French defence. Sean Edwards got a big focus on beating that second attacker into the space to shut down that offload advantage.
Again, the Azzurri line-out not going to plan, but Riccioni quick enough to be able to pick up that deflection, and it is there for the Azzurri. Varney to Marisi and for Zanon this afternoon. There's Ivan Nemar, another Benetton boy, and that's why the excitement in the city has been so much. So many of the familiar faces will be out on the paddock this afternoon. Nemar again, happy with ball in hand. Garbisi throws the ball. Well, the pass from Brax really didn't give Ioane any opportunity, and it was about this time last week,
Yeah,
if you
and
remember,
over.
that Ioane had that try disallowed, which could have been so huge psychologically for the Azzurri.
I'm not sure whether Brett should have thrown that wide ball. Had a 4-on-3, far better to go through the hands one by one, just shut those defenders down.
Canonic, another local hero. Well, there may only be less than 10% of what there was at the Stadio Olimpico last week, but there's plenty of noise from the stands. The little kick through from Moroni, good covering from Marazzi. Minozzi now sparking the counter-attack from his own 22. Italy trying to up the ante. Negri sets it back. Varney going to be forced into the box kick. Ioane doing well to keep going. Nema picks up the ricochet.
Oh, that was a prop in space. Didn't have it.
No thought of a sidestep
No,
there.
there was no idea to look to his left either.
Oh, what's the call gun here? Late tackle.
It is only a penalty. 6. Checking a man off
Sebastian Negri. I'm just having a look. Yes, Thomas Lavanini.
He doesn't lie down for no reason, does he?
Well, has to be said, when the referee's whistle goes, everybody tends to look at Lavanini, but not for that reason. Seems to be in a little bit of discomfort at the moment, the Argentinian second row.
It's normally him that's taking backward steps away from the ref, isn't it?
There's that little chase through from Moroni. But look at this work from the Wasps man.
Oh, look for me. I'm not going anymore.
Looks like the Azzurri need to get themselves and maybe the crowd going, and it's the likes of Ioane, it's the likes of Minozzi that maybe just some individual flair needs to spark things up.
Hey, guys, I'll let your water get off and I'll blow time
If
back
they
on.
want
So
anyone to bring the game to life,
I was just saying,
it's Monty Ioane. 9 carries last week, 121 metres he ran. Played brilliantly.
Yeah.
This is the Kremer try.
And that's the Varney backpack.
Okay, happy? No. Okay.
Other backpacks are available.
They're selling them downstairs, actually.
Kremer with his second test
blue.
try.
Time back on. It's a check off the ball. 6 blue.
And the Negri body check on Lavanini. Being punished and sending Argentina once again up towards the home 22.
Good. That's good.
Watch this space. Thomas Lavanini. He'll look for an opportunity, won't he, to carry towards
Numbers, 6.
Negri later on in this game, no doubt.
1, 2, 3. That's 8.
Montoya. Now, of course, of Leicester Tigers, Lavanini, formerly of the Welford Road outfit. A few of local interest in the East Midlands out here this afternoon. Moroni being another one. And the handling skills of Lavanini just letting him down there.
Okay, easy.
Well, you just wonder whether that
For me, you're on the body.
minute or so on the floor has just knocked him slightly.
Okay.
Look at this from Namara.
Okay.
Nice and low.
Boys,
Big
the
collision.
first scrum, we have too much body height low.
He hit
I need your
Lavanini
body height
so
up.
hard, didn't
So
he?
feet
He
underneath
dropped
us,
it before he
close that up.
even taken the tackle.
But it was the head up looking at what was coming, I guess.
Yeah, when you've got a sore pair of ribs, you do not want Michele Lamaro lining you up.
Well, you can see the first quarter has all been about the visitors. The scoreboard reflects that as well. Italy yet to really get their feet into this,
Give each other
under
space.
the
Hold
match
our
table,
balance.
so to speak.
If you need to now talk to your back
It's a low
five.
percentage of possession.
Don't come forward, boys. Hold the balance.
Struggled with playing in the right areas of the field last week, Italy. And this game, so far, in the opening 20 minutes, is going exactly the same way.
Coach!
Well, the Argentinian scrum, funny enough, wasn't as secure last week as we normally expect. Only 50%, 57% success rate against the French pack. So it'll be interesting to see how the 2-8s set up against themselves. Mateo Carreras now plying his trade with Newcastle Falcons in the northeast of England. Your old lot.
He'd be used to hitting the ball back long.
Ioane puts the ball up, and was there a late tackle from Moroni? The home crowd think there was. Plays going on though, Kremer.
VP, have you got a chance? Yeah, thank you, good work.
Kubeli and Santiago Carreras. A little bit of a misdirected kick there. Straight into the Padovani clutches.
All on. Thank you.
Kick tennis ensues.
All on.
BC got other things on his mind, has he? No. Good work from Montiani again.
Well, it's worked out, but if you've got that much space, he needs to be catching those rather than just slapping them back. They can go anywhere.
Canoni into the engine room this afternoon with Kieran Crowley making a few adjustments. Of course, there's an Italy A game against Uruguay. Varney's kick chased, knocked down by Kubeli.
Italy ball. Italy ball, not for me.
Italy A playing against Uruguay and Padua tomorrow, and then next weekend it's this lot that will be playing Padua in Parma for their last game next Saturday.
Just hold on, get their numbers.
And that's probably the third time that Stephen Varney's gone to take a box kick and been left exposed. Very close to having it charged down a couple of times before.
Better line out from the home side. Crash ball call comes for Luca Morisi. His first game in the Azzurri for 13 months. So looking to make an impression. Varney's kick though, again, giving plenty of time.
But he's having to rush it, isn't he? That was Lavanini that time that nearly got his hands to it. He's having to rush those kicks so quickly. But they're actually not turning out well for the Italians.
BC being given second dibs and will look to take his line-out options into the 22. Swings that big left boot. He has got a monster boot on him, hasn't he?
He's a good player.
If they go 1 metre, your player goes 1 metre. Yeah.
Very cultured left foot, as you say, but he's got more to his game, hasn't he?
Well, we talked last week about the physicality he brings in defence as well, and in attack, should it be needed.
Definitely. He's one for the... Well, I think Varney and Garbisi are definitely the half-backs that this team want to be building their hopes around.
Little blindside peel for Sebastian Negri. Licata in for Gianmarioli, his Zebre teammate. But making a muck-up of that presentation. Stephen Varney just doesn't seem to have settled at scrum half. Couple of kicks charged down, not happy with the way that his forwards are working. Just seems to, looking at the body language, just seems to be... well,
it's frustrated because
he
wants to play the game quickly, doesn't he? That's his style of game. And he wants the ball at the back of the breakdown. Easy to pick up, easy to get away. And at the moment, there's always an Argentinian mitt somewhere near the ball.
Oh, Ioane thought he'd achieved wonders there. Looking at sixes across the board from the judges for that dive. Ben Blaine, the Scottish touch judge on this near side, says no. Montoya, 74 caps of experience from the hooker. Scored plenty of tries in that time as well. takes his team on a rumble into the 22. Oh, the ricochet not working. Was there a knock forward? Yes, from an Argentinian hand.
Lost forward.
Looked like
He's
they
coming back. He's not had no impact.
reconnected with that, but just falling away.
There's been a couple of handling errors, isn't there, in the final third for the Argentinians, which will be disappointing for Ledesma.
Which is entitled to do no impact on the pass.
Talked about them having created a lot of opportunities against the French.
So for me,
It's their effectiveness
I need your arm on his
and their
left.
ability to convert those opportunities, which is the issue. As we see, 3 handling errors by the Argentinians, 4 by the Italians. But if you think about where this game has been played, it's causing the Argentinians more problems at the moment.
Fine. Set.
Padovani stepping in with that big clearance. Buffelli with plenty of time to weigh up the options. Again, puts up the high bomb. Garbisi can't get to it. There was a ricochet off an Italian hand there, and then an Italian head. But the Argentines have the ball. Levanini
He's on.
always blocked through. Padovani anticipating well. Italy looking to load up on that right flank. Minozzi to Garbisi,
Lost forward.
and then losing the ball. And the care and execution really eluding Italy so far.
No, committed.
The kick chase is working, and the try is there. And it's Juan Martin Gonzalez
The kick chase there.
celebrates his 21st birthday tomorrow with an early birthday present today. And the Pumas have a pair of tries inside the first half an hour.
Well, it's a couple of kicks, isn't it, from Geronimo de la Fuente, and it's worked out perfectly for Juan Martin Gonzalez. But at the moment, this is all about the Italians shooting themselves in the foot. Love the intent to play, the intent to find space.
How are we looking, boys?
Padovani with that wide pass to Garbisi on their right flank, trying to expose the space, ultimately knocking the ball on, making that turnover, and it's turnover ball that's so dangerous to attack from.
Yeah, with the defensive line not set up, Italy not able to react quickly enough to close the door.
Hard to stop. Yeah. Yeah.
Buffelli, with his most difficult kick of the game so far, has no problems from the tee and takes Argentina into a 17-0 lead now. Half an hour gone of this game, and there's the footballing skills we've seen earlier.
That last scrum.
Little
Very
dab
good.
through, and Gonzalez fielding his own kick to nail the first try in Puma's colours for the open side.
It was that turnover, wasn't it, that led to Minozzi being out of position. Brilliantly spotted by De La Fuente. That's why there was so much space in behind.
Well, it looked like Italy had closed ranks on any potential pass, certainly, but as you say, De La Fuente's ability to thread that kick through the line just turned the Italian defence, and Argentina was so quick to pounce. Ivan Nema.
Advantage.
I don't know whether you noticed in the anthems, he was so emotional after the Argentinian anthem before the Italian anthem, but you can imagine for a young man, it is a very emotional occasion.
Another opportunity for the Italians. Great inside ball by Garbisi. Probably a bit too much heat on it for Nicolo Canone, but the space was there.
into the final 10 of this first half,
Yeah,
Tom.
it's the same.
As we say, it's all been about the visitors. Psychologically, it's huge just for Italy to get on the board before the break.
I've only had to shift the position of my bum once.
Shot
Everything's
ball.
been down to my right. Now we have an opportunity to see the Italians
No clear release.
on the front foot.
Slow to roll.
They have the ability. They created opportunities last week. We've seen them nearly get away once or twice in this opening 30 minutes. But this will certainly be a settler for them.
Well, Garbisi is very used to kicking in this stadium and is a prolific kicker. 12 of his last 12 have sailed through the posts. His team need the baker's dozen though this afternoon. Here we go. Finds the right club, finds the target, and at last, with 31 minutes on the board, Italy break the bagel.
The tackle's not done, you'll bring him to ground.
It's important for the Italians to get inside at half-time and at least have something on the scoreboard.
Okay.
It's all been Argentina so far.
Fine, guys.
And hopefully, from Italian perspective, that'll settle the nerves. And it's that Treviso favourite in Garbisi that's done it.
Negri, another local, although born in Zimbabwe, really enforcing his place in Italian hearts. 35 caps now for the Azzurri.
That is a great kick. Again, Garbisi, but he put a full swing at that. It was like watching Bryson DeChambeau have a lash at one.
Close in.
I've heard that's like you.
No. Cricket's my game. Successful line out with Gonzalez the recipient. Montoya allowing Kubeli. How many times have those two played together? Kubeli with 81 caps now. Martin Landajo not really in the mix, in the picture. They shared so many games, of course, those two. Garbisi with the kick pass. The take, good take from Padovani.
Yeah, the ball is out.
And look at the contest at the breakdown. Just slowing things minimally down for the home side. Here they go with Nema. He's takes his man, but the ball is still there for Riccioni. Varney loses the ball in the contact. And here go Argentina again. Again, it's turnover opportunity.
Yeah, backwards.
Italy trying to set their stall up on halfway, forcing the kick from Santiago Carreras Ioane. Plenty of time, feeds his playmaker. And here we go again. Kick tennis. Good take from Carreras. The fullback feeds inside to it. Cordero, Santiago Cordero has to reset his sat-nav. But again, the alarm bells ringing in the Italian camp. Look at the numbers for Argentina out to that left-hand side. Offloads inside, good work from Juan Ignacio Brex, anticipating that little flip ball.
No!
Yet again, Italy's defence just ripped asunder by the kicking persuasion almost of that Argentinian back three, including, of course, Santiago Carreras in that.
They've got issues with their kick chase, haven't they? As soon as, well, in that case, it was Monte Ioane that went up for the ball. There's no one in behind covering the space that's been left. And it's just too easy for the Argentinians to regather the ball and hair off down in the other direction.
Well, this is that kick from Garbisi. What was it? The kick pass. Matteo Carreras it was, trying to get to Padovani.
Okay, let's go, boys. What's our number? 6.
Cabelli, master manipulator at halfback.
It looks good in slow-mo, that, doesn't it? That'll be on his highlight reel.
I was going to say it's on your show reel for the next contract, isn't it?
Just here.
As long as it's not the only one,
Just
you're
left
right.
foot here.
5 minutes left on the clock. And
Yeah, I'm gonna
14 points the difference on the
The
scoreboard.
last scrum was perfect. Okay? Perfect. Well done. Same again.
James Dolman, as I mentioned, just his second test, made his debut indeed in that Australia-France game back in July. You remember that one that ended 28-26 to Les Bleus? Well, he was on the whistle, and that was his introduction to international rugby, certainly at this level. Issa Kubeli into that midfield. De La Fuente onto Carreras. Argentina just mixing up the options in the back line now. Gonzalez, a new recruit for London Irish
Ruck.
in the English Premiership. Fairly stopped in the flow, but Kubeli keeps things moving. Kremer using all that power. Good work from Negri, wasn't going to let him go.
Okay. Use it.
3 minutes left of this first half. Kubeli just weighing up the options kicking-wise. Knew Minozzi was in position and Minozzi calling the mark. Alessandro Troncon, a man who's caught a few balls before, in charge of the A-team indeed tomorrow.
And hold there, guys.
He's probably kicked a few into this stand as well, hasn't he?
Yeah.
Over the years.
You keep coming. That's good. That's over.
Montoya throws deep but doesn't find his target. Carreras the quickest to react. Good work from the fly-off, but isolated there. And the Azuri with a chance to clear their lines.
Holding. Just there, mate.
Big moments those for the Italians. Those small wins just enable them to stifle the momentum that Argentina have in this game. It's another big hit from Garbisi. Oh, I think touch has been a bit harsh there.
I'm sure the Italian crowd would have let him know if that was their determination. Lucchesi, formerly of Calvisano Mogliano, feeders into the Benetton club. Ioane having to pick up the pieces and do very well. Monty Ioane is in a fine vein of form, albeit he hasn't had premier attacking opportunities.
Well, that was a prop he was dragging along as well after contact. Hugely powerful. As Garbisi knocks one on. And just here, disappointment, the frustration creeping into this crowd.
So much expectation on Garbisi. You think, I mean, he's only, 21 years of age.
So just the
Only
long
made
line
his
for me on this
international
side.
debut against Ireland in October last year. And now everybody expects, Montpellier paying him big money to produce at pivot in the top 14. When he comes back here now with the Azuri, they expect. And that is a weight, isn't it?
Yeah, but I think you learn a lot about him as a player. He learns a lot about himself
We need to be better with that.
in those tough situations, and it'll certainly develop his game for, he's going to have a long career. And I think what he learns now as a youngster dealing with tough times will stand him in good stead for the future. Because he wants to play, doesn't he? That's the thing. It's a balance between when to play, when not to play.
He has a positive outlook, doesn't he?
Yeah, I mean the example down in the, 30 metres behind this when they got turned over, which led to an Argentinian score, is a case in point.
Italy get the call at the scrum.
Right, you change your bind on the arm. Tight
The
head
celebration on the pitch and into the stands
Shot.
reveals a lot of the desire, should we say. And I think they're going to take a pot at the posts as the clock is in the red. Garbisi, we know, has the distance. He has 40 metres and more in that boot. It's right in front of the posts.
Keep working hard for this elbow up, and then I can see that. Yeah. 3. If you give me the back picture, I can watch his elbow. I have one problem. Yeah. There's too much pressure on the back. Okay. I'll look at that. But for me, you need to keep your bind. Okay. You take pressure out. I'm going to stay straight. And I come back. Good man. But you show me a good picture. Okay.
Garbisi sends it towards the clubhouse at the far end, puts another 3 points on the tally. It's a half that's really belonged to the visitors with those tries from Kremer and Gonzalez inside the first half an hour. But as last week, Garbisi's boot trying to keep the Azzurri in it. Half-time score here at the Stadio di Monigo. It's Italy 6, Argentina 17. Welcome back to the Stadio Comunale di Monigo, a place where Italy have actually got a very good reputation. They've won 4 of their 5 games here. Scotland, Ireland and Zimbabwe have left without the spoils. Wales were the team that did. But the last time Italy beat Argentina was 2008 in Cordoba. That was when Nick Mallet was in charge. The late comeback there. What have they got to do, Tom May, to actually change things around here in the 2021 version?
Well, very simply, they've got to spend more time in attacking positions deep in that Argentinian half. They've had some real big problems with their kick chase, which has opened them up. It's just been too easy for the Argentinians at times. Looking through some of the stats after that first half, 4 out of the 5 top carriers were Italian. 3 out of the 5 top meters made were by an Italian. 3 out of 5 of the top tacklers were Argentinian. Italians really do need to make their possession count, and early on in this second 40. 17-6 here in Treviso, and the crowd almost needs something to cheer about, didn't we?
Yes, the locals looking for a spark, hoping the home team can provide it, and early in this second half. Here we go, a big 40 ahead. Argentina already in the driving seat, but the Azzurri looking to build on the 6 points that Garbisi provided in the latter stages of that first half. Indeed, we saw pictures of the dressing room during the interval, and it was Garbisi who was standing loud and proud. Varney thought he was away there, but referee's whistle had gone for the knock forward. Yeah, it was Garbisi that was doing the shouting, and he was very emotional with it.
He was, yeah. And it's good to see from a young player who's guiding his team around the field, telling his side exactly what he wants. Matera's got away with one there, isn't he? Stephen Varney, well, actually, I'll tell you what, Mateo Carreras is no slouch. I think he would have hunted him down, but a good opportunity. That ball's got to go longer, though, from Garbisi.
Yeah, the accuracy of the box kicking has not helped the Italian flow, that's for sure. Cubelli into that midfield mix of De La Fuente and Moroni. Change of option from Santiago Carreras. Awkward bouncing ball.
Play on. No foul play for me.
Gymnastics there from Mateo Carreras. And here come Argentina early in this second half. Matera throws it wide to Moroni, and Moroni goes in for try number 3. We've only had 98 seconds of the second half, and that is a big dent in the Italian psyche so early after the break.
A massive dent in this Italian team, and again it's all come from a poor kicking game, from poor kick chase. And the ability for the Argentinians to make that turnover ball count.
Yeah.
And Mateus Moroni,
Yeah. Kicks okay.
you won't get many easier than that. They really do need to sort that area of the game out. They would have addressed it at half-time, and still it's causing problems.
Boffelli swings it through, and normal service has been resumed by the visitors quickly after the break. Well, they will be happy if they've got Puma's flags. I was reading online on the America's Rugby News website, and they were saying Saturday is Judgment Day for Mario Ledesma. Having lost the last 7, it was absolutely mandatory to get the win this afternoon, and not only get the win but the style of play as well. On what you've seen so far in 43 minutes, Tom, have they produced a style of play that can take them forward, literally?
I don't think they've actually had to do too much to make sure that they've got out to this lead so far. Much of it has come from Italian errors. They've done okay, but if that's what they're going to judge Ledesma on, then I think you would hope for a bit more from his team in this second half.
Ledesma's contract comes to an end next month, so big decisions from the UAR. Of course, Ledesma took over, there he is, took over from Daniel Orkadei in the middle of 2018. Similar scenario in many ways, that the Pumas were 0 from 6 in that year's Rugby Championship, lost against England in the first game of the November tour, and then beat Italy.
Okay, 6 white.
Forensic.
There's an element whereby you can't really take the position that Argentina find themselves in away from the way that they've played the game. They haven't had to. You can only do what's put in front of you.
You have to remember the psyche as well, though, don't you? I mean, you may have heard that interview before the game, Ledesma saying they haven't played at home in 2 years. Now, that is not easy. They've, was it 6 weeks on the Gold Coast for the Rugby Championship in a bubble?
Yeah, I was chatting to Juan Fernandez Lobe this morning in the hotel. Said it was really difficult during that Rugby Championship to be away for so long. I said, well, what's it been like so far this November? We've only been away for 2 weeks. It's been okay.
We've seen a few of the families around and kids as well, and that must ease the atmosphere, I'm sure. And the atmosphere is going to be ramped up now because Italy into the Pumas 22. CC, the call.
Number 5. They're fine.
Argentinian pack doing very well to try and stifle that into the midfield with Marisi.
Tackle!
He's a strong carrier, isn't he, in the midfield for the Italians. Marisi bouncing off left, right and centre.
Oh, the no-look pass there from the captain, Lamato.
Knock on advantage.
Ball has come back, though. Brex spots opportunity, Padovani. Good tackling from Lavanini, shutting the gate very quickly. But it's Negri who gets through. Negri trying to take the direct route to market.
That is a massive tackle from Mateo Carreras.
Brex throws it out to Padovani. Padovani having to stretch, so they would go back for the earlier call. But you just get sense, albeit we're only 6 minutes into the second half, Italy have to get points from this entrance into the opposition 22.
They certainly do. Well, as soon as Negri was through the line there, watch this tackle. Whack, in low. Sat Pablo Matera on his backside.
Here come Italy again. Marisi, almost but not quite. Defiant Pumas defence, holding out, but Italy banging at the door. The fans trying to make their voices count. A little dab around the side, and it's over. I think it's Varney. Yeah, it's the little Gloucester scrum half, Stephen Varney. On the occasion of his 9th cap. Looks like he's damaged himself a bit. First international try. It'll ease the pain a bit, but that ice pack is going to have to do some work now.
Okay.
Well, that's what his team needed. Good work, good snipe from the number 9.
He's so good at that, isn't he? One of my words I did in prep for this afternoon's game. Sniping scrum half. That's exactly what that was. Those little darting runs just open up little bits of space that stress defenders. Kieran Crowley will be hoping that ice does its trick.
Garbisi, never in doubt, even before he kicks it. And suddenly it has a slightly different feel already. Changes off the bench as well for the home side. Lukabiji in, Danilo Fischetti in. Looking to see where else they've gone. I think Federico Ruzza is on as well. So 3 early changes from Kieran Crowley. Crowley, of course, who still lives locally. Took Benetton to the Rainbow final here earlier on in the year and took the trophy off the Bulls. Still lives in a house owned by a certain Jay Kerwin. JK is his landlord. They had a very interesting Zoom call, I think it was last week, when he was checking that the lawns had been cut. And called Crowley.
The rent had been paid.
Well, no doubt. Of course, Craig Green, I think, is still around as well. All that Italian, the All Black back 3 from the 87 World Cup and the 91 one as well. Smooth line out this time. Change of kicking option from Garbisi. Trying to turn the visitors' defence. Good reflex action from Montoya.
Hold!
Santiago Carreras. Very accurate kick. Garbisi. Ioane being asked to find a way through and back over halfway. Looks like there's a problem backfield for Marco Riccioni. The Saracens tight head, they're calling for a stretcher in back play. Play continues though inside the Italian half. Trying to stop play and now the referee has seen it. The Saracens tight head in a lot of pain from the looks of that.
Against you, asked the kick, changed his line. Number 12 changes his line after the kick. I understand that. We'll just take time with this player here. Hey, Julian.
Just looked from those pictures like a very unfortunate collision between the 2 tight heads, Francisco Gomez Correa, the Leon tight head. Let's just take a look here. Awkward bounce of the ball, of course.
I don't think it's even that, is it? I think as he's turned, he's pushed off his left knee.
You're right. You're right. Take that back.
That for him is very, very well, and Saracen's very, very worrying.
Yeah. Cool.
Pietro Ceccarelli.
Sorry. Boys, on your kick.
Straight into the team talks. There's a change in Argentinian ranks. Facundo Issa gets the applause of the crowd. There's Santiago Grondona wearing 20 this afternoon.
One second.
Yeah, you're right, Tom. It was just one of those change of direction things for the big Azzurri 3.
He's a big operator as well last week. Made 18 tackles, which for a prop is a huge amount of work to get through. That
The
replay,
mark's
Brett
gonna be
certainly did get taken out, didn't he?
No, it's a penalty. He said it's a change of line. So we've already looked at that. I've just mentioned to them what you said to me about stopping. Okay? So the kick.
Well, that's a sight nobody wants to see.
It's on the 43, so 43 metres in front of the post.
I think there's going to be a penalty for that off the ball
Okay, thank you.
connection.
Just a twist, he's checked.
There it is. It's Geronimo de la Fuente on
The message
Juan Ignacio Brex. The two Argentinians colliding in midfield. There's Facundo Issa, the Toulon number 8, of course plays with an Italian legend down there. Sergio Parise still plying his trade in the top 14.
Now, am I right in thinking that he has Argentinian heritage as well?
He was born in Argentina. I think his dad was working over there, but he was certainly brought up in Italy. Speaks 3 languages, 4 languages. I always remember doing...
Do you not?
Sergio?
Not you.
No. I remember him doing Italian press conferences and telling the translator not to worry. And he just did.
I like
Him and Pierre Berbizier, they're both multilingual. Still talk of whether Parise is going to get a farewell in Italian colours. Of course, it didn't happen in the World Cup because of the tropical storm.
We did our homework on that last week, didn't we? Hagibis.
Well done. You were out there.
I was out there. I was a long way away, and I would describe it as a soft breeze where I was.
So if you want the 10 is here.
You're a hard
Crazy.
man, mate. You're a hard man.
Yeah. Different winds in the northeast of England.
I don't want to go there.
You're going to shoot?
Players trying to keep themselves going and focused. Always difficult, especially for the side that's been affected. Every due care and attention being taken, of course. There's Michele Lamaro.
It could work both ways here. Work in the Italians' advantage. Momentum's been with them, which allows them to almost talk about the problems that they've continued to face since coming back out of the sheds, as we see that incredible bit of athleticism from Mateo Carreras and Riccioni. And we wish him well.
Yeah, let's hope that's not as bad as it looked on first viewing.
Yeah, that's right.
And this big crowd here in Treviso giving him their respect as he leaves the pitch on a stretcher.
7 people having to carry that thing.
12 white,
He's a big lad, 120 kilos. That's all due care and attention.
Garbisi.
Big 3. Big 3 points.
Well within range though, isn't it?
Yep. Didn't make the cleanest of contacts, but certainly had enough power behind it. Half an hour to go. And Garbisi takes his team within 8. Have we got a different game in prospect now for the last 30 minutes?
It's an 8-pointer. Argentina still got a bit of a breather in between them and the Italians, but what will this do to their mental state? The Italians creeping back into this.
Good hands in there from Gonzalez. Just putting it back on the Pumas side. Grondona, the new extra Chiefs back row, of course. Signed until the end of the season, we're told, to replace Jacques Vermeulen down at Sandy Park in the UK. Looks like Geronimo de la Fuente took a bit of a heavy knock there. Still down on his knees on this near side.
Use it now.
Cavelli out to Grondona. Had time with the Newcastle Falcons as well. Didn't really come to much. Had a knee injury. didn't allow him to show Dean Richards really what he was about.
And I thought that had come off an Italian leg, actually, as it was kicked through. That's Brex. Stuck a foot out, didn't need to try and stop it. I thought I heard a noise as it shot past.
On the line.
No, I thought Luca Bigi was on, but he's obviously not, because that's Lucchese throwing in.
Inside the 5 now.
Some changes in the Italian front row, but not the hooker as yet. Negri. Ball. Oh, that is a big call from the referee. Italy thought they grounded that.
By blue, white ball.
But
in a maul situation,
yep,
that doesn't matter, does it?
Well,
Manini almost holding that whole thing up himself. Once they're down there, the Argentinian players, they don't have to move away, they don't have to roll away, they can kill the ball.
Balance, balance.
well, the big Clermont second row doing great work there and giving opportunity for his team to try and work some strike from this scrum.
5, 6.
Slow ball into that midfield with De La Fuente. Italy able to set their lines. Kramer.
Oh, he gathered it again.
Argentina trying to muscle their way around the fringe at the moment. Now it goes wide. Buffelli. Out it goes, and there is try number 4. It's Santiago Cordero in this afternoon instead of his brother Facundo. Established himself really in the Rugby World Cup in England in 2015. And now the Bordeaux Bègles flyer on the end of that very, very emphatic and exact attack from the Pumas.
When you talk about an exact attack, it's simple attack as well, isn't it? Again, Matera giving the ball when it needed to be passed.
I'm okay, thank you.
3 on 2.
Just where you are there.
Simple things done very, very well at this level. Still work. It's not a complicated game. Just need to create those scenarios and polish them off.
Yeah.
And Santiago Cordero, there's not many better than him in situations like that.
For me, I'm live, I'm really happy with him together. Yeah, thanks.
Well, Buffelli can't add to it, but that is a big swing in the Pumas' favour.
But he regathered. Okay, time's off.
It's a double blow, isn't it, for the Italians?
Substitution.
With Moroni scoring on the left-hand side and then Cordero on that far touchline. It's going to be a long way back for these Italians in this remaining 25 minutes.
Couple of changes in the Italian ranks.
Taken back.
Just looking to see. Yeah, it's Marco Fusa into the Italian scrum.
Onside.
And Federico Mori also in, replacing Matteo Minozzi.
Yeah.
Straight into touch. Unforced error from Padovani.
Just about there, mate.
Giovanni Pettinelli
Match up,
making his debut. Popular decision here in Benetton. A fortnight ago, he was captaining Italy A to win over Spain in Madrid. Now he steps up to wear to get his full international colours, wearing 21. Gubelli biding his time, then changing the option to kick back. Mori can't take cleanly on his first contact, and here come Argentina again. Matera, awkward pass that Boffelli tried to bat on, and the back row didn't help his fullback on that occasion.
Behind the mark.
We talked about keeping rugby simple and doing those simple things well. That looked incredibly complicated from Pablo Matera. In that situation, would have been far better just using his bulk, his frame to just carry into contact.
It wasn't lost forward, was it? So it's just the line out. Just the line out. I'll get them. Numbers 6.
Well, discipline thus far has been relatively good between these two Latin cousins. You might expect a little more friction, shall we say, but we haven't seen that in the first, hour pretty much of this game. Italy working a sweet backline move to try and release Mori. Just running out of room on this near side. Flag is up.
I might go quick. Yeah.
Brilliant hands in the midfield from Luca Marisi. Took the ball straight to the line and dropped it back out.
No.
And then when Mori's in this position, just has to get away from that touchline. He's looking for support post-contact, but needs to have a bit more of an idea about where those support runners are coming from prior to the tackle.
And the 5.
The Pumas line-out axis works once again. Montojo realises they were heading the wrong direction, so asks his scrum half to put another one up. This time, Mori is up to the task. Lots of these kicking conversations that have been going on throughout the game. Padovani stays committed to the ball. Really had to be under pressure there from Boffelli. Garbisi thinks he's spotted opportunity. Slams it downtown.
You got a driver like that. That is an opportunity.
Back.
Santiago Carreras in his other position, should we say, a fullback. And again, both teams looking for position.
Yeah, wait. This man here.
It's about not getting bored in these situations with the kicking game, waiting for the opposition to make a mistake, create you the opportunity to counter-attack.
Mateo Carreras has plenty of time to set his target and certainly hit it. Good kick from the young left winger. Scored that try against France on his first start last weekend. Doing the job for Ledesma and co. An hour gone. 2 scores the difference between these two teams. Wonder how much fatigue will play into it. We saw in both their games last week, the tackle count was immense. I think Argentina put in 170 tackles at the Stade de France and 191 tackles from the Italians in the game at the Stadio Olimpico.
Okay, subs are made. Time on.
So, another debutant, Ignacio Cages, comes into the international mix for the first time for
the ball is on the other side.
Argentina.
9, the other side.
Plies his trade, of course, with Poe in the top 14. Indeed, all this Argentinian 23 play their rugby abroad. And that is a significant state of the game, the club game in Argentina. And of course, Jaguares haven't got the players that they had a couple of years ago. Financial, pandemic, you can put in lots of different factors as to why.
It's a great turnover. Gianmarco Lucchesi has got himself in that position 2 or 3 times during this game. And that could be a crucial penalty to win for his team. That'd be a penny for Ledesma's thoughts right now. Santiago Carreras having come off. And Nicolas Sanchez having taken his place in the number 22 shirt. Given that the plan wasn't adhered to last weekend in Paris, I wonder how pleased Ledesma will be come the end of this game.
Of course, their next trip is to Dublin next week. Finish things off. Oh, the steal there. Great work in the middle of that line-out from Gonzalez. Kubeli with a beautiful kick that's forcing Mori back. Pressure coming in from Carreras.
He did well, Mori, to get that ball in field.
Nico Sanchez.
Okay. Midfield.
That looked like rush hour in Treviso on a Friday night. You couldn't tell who was going which way.
Mark's here. Yep.
Oh, that's a sloppy penalty to give away just in the midfield. I think it was Luca Morisi.
Shot.
Ticked off for having not retreated after the kick. Now, Argentina have got the opportunity to extend this lead again. It was Argentinian hands in the air after that line out. I think effectively he was just dropped by his mates.
Okay. You can come up just here. Yeah.
So Nico Sanchez being given another metre or so from the officials to make sure it's in the right place, because nobody has scored more points for Argentina than that man there. Now plying his trade with Stade Francais. Scored all those 25 points in that historic first win over the All Blacks. When was that, a year ago or so? All 25 points. Converted try and penalties. Now looking for his first 3 points of this one. Keeps it low, but keeps it on track and keeps Argentina on track for a win that will end this glut of losses.
Are we happy to go? Or are we waiting? Thank you.
So that substitution has now happened to bring Luca Bigi on into the middle of the scrum for Italy.
It's inside. Yeah, they haven't moved.
Sanchez gets blocked by Fuser.
Yeah.
But the ball pushes dead in the end.
It's a 22. No, it was put dead by Blue. Yeah. 22.
It's just a little detail, but if that ball gets passed back to you on your left and you're a right-footed kicker, they're the little details that make such a massive difference at this game. Sanchez having to switch the ball over to his right foot, then clear, just takes too much time.
Padovani, as he's been wont to do, kicks it high, kicks it long. Buffelli, well, he's got used to this role now. Is there turnover at the breakdown? No, says the referee. Kremer, scorer of that first try.
Still carrying.
It's inside.
Oh, he won't stop. He just won't stop. Made his international debut, I think, at about 18, and has just kept going and going. Fischetti doing very well on this near side. Argentina with Nico Sanchez down in back play, so down a player in that defensive line.
He's in a bad way as well, I think.
Didn't see the action that caused Sanchez to fall.
Lost
Might
forward
have been
here.
the ball.
We have white ball, but time off.
Looks a bit groggy, but I'm not sure whether it was one in the solar plexus rather than the temples.
Okay, guys, we're good to go. He's up.
Again, he was put under pressure, wasn't he?
Okay, yeah,
On-rushing Italian defenders hunting that ball down.
More changes for Argentina. Lucas Paulos coming on to replace Lavanini. And Thomas Kubeli's day is done. Gonzalo Petrano, the Dragon scrum half,
Lost forward by Blue. White ball.
on to supply the feed for Sanchez, who is back on his feet and thankfully able to continue.
I'll set up. I'll look out your way. Crouch. Punch.
Petrano, who's made such an impact as a short-term replacement really down there in South Wales at Rodney Parade, that they've extended his contract. Dean Ryan obviously very happy with what he brings to the group. Plenty of international experience as well. Over 30 caps for the Pumas.
It's the first time we've seen the Italian pack disintegrate like that.
Tight head, short bind on the arm and in.
Montoya, Lamaro, both captains.
That's okay. Yeah, happy?
Couple of words to each other at the end.
Short bind and in. Bind on the back and don't go in. Yeah.
Former Italy captain, of course, Luca Bigi. 13 times he wore the metaphorical armband for the Azzurri. Petrano puts it in the midfield again. Geronimo de la Fuente, the Perpignan centre, always willing to do the hard yards. Grondona coming round to try and make the extra man. Barlos, the big brave, second row, 6'8", 119 kilos, always going to make an impact. Good work there from Pettinelli.
Turnover's good.
Quick reaction, but the turnover is once again there for Argentina. How many times have we seen that?
And also, how many times have we just seen in the last few minutes the Italians just start to look more and more tired? Saw it last week, and it's happening again here in Treviso.
Stop.
As they get tired, there's more opportunities appearing for the Argentinians.
He's putting them on, 14.
Padovani.
Yep.
He's got a big boot, but always seems to kick it to the opposition, and the likes of Buffelli will either send it back with interest or open it up and run it back. Clemmer again.
Okay, use. Yeah, ball's out.
Ball's out, says the referee. Italy reacting.
Brilliant from Fusa. Argentina didn't really know how to react, but they have to react, and they've got to react quickly.
Federico Ruzza,
Open up.
from a famous, of course, Benetton family. Sister Valentina playing for the Italy women in the second row. Buffelli seems to have plenty of time, no panic in his head.
Yeah, play.
And that's what carrying the ball in two hands does. Buys you time. It's the first time probably in 30 minutes we've ever said Monty Ioane.
He certainly hasn't been given the opportunity he was hoping for, as Pettinelli drives again. Varney almost up to the 22. Italy looking to make something, trying to stitch something together now at pace. Garbisi. Argentina holding their discipline, keeping their communication, keeping that line right, moving their host back.
Just losing a bit of depth, just as I say that. It's Padovani who knocks it on.
No.
The Italians are getting flatter and flatter, which means they're not able to run onto the ball, not able to get over the gain line.
Julian. Thank you.
And then as a consequence, becomes easier to defend from the opposition.
And as you know, you're going to be tackled. As we see in the replay there, Padovani took his eyes right off the ball as Geronimo de la Fuente lined him up.
Perfect.
So another international debutant, the final replacement from the home bench, Alessandro Fusco, the Zebre scrum half, comes on for Stephen Varney. And on the other side, Julian Montoya's day is done. Yet another big 70 minutes from the Pumas captain. There he is, Facundo Bosch. in. And I'm just looking, I think Lucio Cinti is on wearing 23 for the Pumas.
Okay, time's still off.
He's going to come into the mix for De La Fuente, and De La Fuente is another who's emptied the tank in his country's cause this afternoon. So 10 minutes left of this game, 16 points the difference. All the replacements are on, all the supposed game changers are now in the mix. How is this one going to play out? Will Argentina hold on to get that valuable victory in their heads? Can the Azzurri find something to open the door and avert this, what would be a 16-game losing trot?
The Italians penalised, pulling the arm down there in the scrum. Just gaining a stronghold, aren't they, in the set piece at the moment, the Argentinians. Scrum largely over the past couple of weeks for the Italians has held strong. Hasn't disintegrated as we saw just before. Quite like that, but they're certainly under pressure now.
Ioane comes off his wing to take that ricochet. And Italy trying to find width on the ball, but as we say, not really coming from depth, and the Pumas line just moving up and suffocating the ball carrier. It is still there for the Azzurri. Fuser has to go backwards before it can go forwards. Fusco to Garbisi, and again
it's unstructured though, isn't it? That's exactly why it's gone down Cordero's throat.
And he's quite happy. Oh, there's the footballing skills once again from the Argentines. Padovani slams it away, and that's a good clearance kick from Padovani, but once again Italy seem to be running out of ideas.
Well, as soon as Garbisi got that ball, he had Luca Marisi almost traipsing across in front of him. Guys with their back to the ball. They're out on their feet now, these Italians. Of course, they have fresh legs in terms of replacements, but those guys that have been on since the start really started to drop away.
Facundo Bosch, the Pumas replacement hooker, breaks away. Another who's playing his trade in the French top division with Ronan O'Gara at La Rochelle. There he is. Petrano gets the call from Sanchez.
Numbers.
Moroni, the Leicester Tigers centre, trying to find a way through a blue line that is becoming more and more jagged. The elasticity seems to have disappeared from the Azzurri line now as the fatigue kicks in. Talking of kicks, Sanchez puts up another one. Padovani is there but can't take cleanly. And it's Argentina now who seem to be managing this game. Buffelli and Sanchez making the right calls at the right times and putting the hosts under such a lot of pressure.
No advantage. Blue 20, never back.
There's your old teammate. He doesn't smile much, but he seems happy.
Blue number 20, never back onside.
He's one of those blokes. Really, you always wanted him on your team, and I played against him as well.
Never back onside.
He is a nightmare to play against.
Him and his brother.
Oh, his brother's worse.
Both of them Argentinian legends in the rugby fraternity. Sanchez, who's taken over captaincy duties now. Such an experienced head, of course. That was the big call made by Ledesma to give Santiago Carreras first dibs in the 10 shirt. And
Wait for them to hit the
bring
ground.
Sanchez on as and when he needed a bit more control probably in the game. And certainly with just over 5 minutes to go in this one, it is the visitors in total control.
That's in the 5.
Bosch, head up, letting his forward mates do the hard yards. Sensing opportunity, and Bosch is over.
Yeah, it's just a bubble.
Facundo Bosch with what is the deciding score, surely, of this game now.
Yeah. Okay, time off. TMO.
They're going to go upstairs. I think Brendan Pickrell's going to be asked to confirm this.
But we think there might be a bubble, and if that's the case, lost forward, we're going back for a penalty for a collapse at full time.
Okay, so on-field decision try, we'll check for a knock-on, James.
Yeah.
There is Bosch coming through it with no Italians in front of him, being held up by his own teammates.
I think he's dropped that, hasn't he?
Torso on top.
I think he may well have lost control.
The Argentinians haven't moved back to halfway. Is that indicative?
It's that time of the game. They can't.
It's nearer to the clubhouse, you mean?
You're right, though. Whoever that was, I wasn't quite sure who it was.
I won't go
Just
time back
slightly in the
until we're
way.
ready, okay? Yeah,
The ball
Right,
has been
let's have a
knocked
listen.
on,
Yeah.
so go back to your penalty.
just wait. It's a no try, lost forward, collapse small.
So another opportunity after a collapse more for the Argentinians to reset that.
Argentina, take 2.
Yep.
They go again.
Again, it's pretty structured, isn't it? There's too many Italian defenders on this side of them all.
Looks like the Pumas have turned things, but there they go. And this time it's happened. Facundo Bosch, you can smile now. You have an international try.
Well, take 2 worked. Just missed out on his first try on the first attempt. Same 2 in the middle of them all. Same guy trying to hold him back.
Thanks.
Brilliant. See how pleased he is with that. Really well structured, weren't they? As I said, Italians got themselves on the wrong side of the ball. Really difficult to just hold that momentum up. And now, Nicolas Sanchez
Is the ground clock right? 70,
has a chance to add the extra 2.
Yeah.
For what is close to being an emphatic win for the Argentinians.
Yeah, it certainly looks that way, doesn't it? Scoreboard, probably a fair reflection in terms of certainly the first half domination that the Pumas had. Sanchez flirting with the left-hand upright, but it's not going to find the target. It's immaterial, really. And there is the nomination for the player of the match. Argentina's fullback Emiliano Buffelli had a sound game under the high ball. 4 out of 6 off the tee as well. He really has given the Pumas the motivation and the momentum that they've needed in what has been for a large part a kicking contest.
He's tidied up some pretty messy situations for the Argentinians as well. Good player, good afternoon's work from Emiliano Buffelli.
Well, the locals giving Buffelli due respect and recognition. Sanchez slams it away from danger. Padovani now has to play. The kicking strategy really hasn't benefited the Azzurri, hasn't benefited that man there, Montegiorani.
It's okay. This man rolled.
It's only 3 times he's got his hands on the ball in the second 40, isn't it?
Rolled.
He's arguably their best attacking threat, and he just hasn't been able to get in the game.
There has been a lot of boot to ball through the course of this game, particularly from the home side. And Matas Garbisi is a very positive individual. It hasn't allowed the Azzurri to really get themselves onto the attacking front foot for any concerted period of play. Well, of course, that Varney try.
Hold their whites.
Garbisi 4 out of 4 off the tee, but it's kind of immaterial when Bosch went over for the 5th try for the visitors.
Yep, over the 15.
Lamado. Little pass back inside. Last 60 seconds of this game, and again,
No hands.
lack of execution and precision
Forward spin,
from
inside.
the Azzurri. Gives the ball back to Argentina. Boffelli inviting his teammates to run out of the 22. Ioane gets a big hit in. One of the biggest roars from the home crowd as well this afternoon.
23 on the ground.
There was a bit of frustration in that, wasn't there? That is how to execute a dominant tackle.
All right, let's go.
Slightly teed up by his teammate. It was Mateus Moroni. In low, in hard. Driven backwards.
Well, final play for the Azzurri.
Thank you.
It's been a
Wait
tough
for them to hit the
afternoon
ground.
for them, for their fans, but they're just looking for a bit of feel-good to finish things right now. Scrabbling their way
Hands
towards
up,
the
hands
try
up,
line.
Hands up! Yeah, well done. No, you're back again. Advantage. Hands in front.
Advantage
offside.
call is there for the Azzurri. Fuser, Ruzza trying to power their way there.
Your hands are in front of the line. It's offside. No, back here. Hands in front. Offside. Nice, yeah.
Alessandro Fusco looked to tap then got his head up and saw that Kramer was just looking at him. I'll take my time.
Sensible call from the replacement scrum half. Lamado. Quick presentation, but the Pumas line stepping up really quickly. The ball goes loose. Well, penalty call is
Offside
there.
again. Offside. What's our number 4? White number 13, never back on side.
Moroni just not holding on to his discipline on that occasion. We go again. Italia is the call.
Rap.
Given to Luca Bigi. Tap and just hair into
Open
that
up, well done. Ball's
Argentinian
there.
defence. It's Lamaro with a big carry.
Morisi. Argentina have upped the ante in defence. You can see the calling, the shout to keep their concentration, keep their discipline. Pettinelli driven backwards. Still there for the Azzurri. Desperation in the Italian play now, just to get one more try. Give them something to talk about in the clubhouse afterwards. Fischetti. See how Argentina have just moved them away nearer and nearer to that 22 with every phase of play.
Well, they can just be patient, can't they, in defence? They don't have to step out, just wait until the Italians come to that gain line.
Lamaro offering and taking. Fuser. All the Italians now to the right of the breakdown, but the ball is turned over. Petrano out to Sanchez. Are we going to have a glorious finish from Argentina? Booted away by Santiago Cordero. Montigliani at last gets ball in hand, but he's just outside his 22.
He's desperate to run. And now they have numbers.
There's some tired bodies.
Oh,
lovely little pass over the top from Pettinelli. Nowhere though for Mori to go. Ball is loose. And Matera says, we'll take it. It has been an impressive performance from the Pumas. They've done what they set out to do in averting this 7-game run with no win. They've got victory on the board. 5 tries to 1 tells its own tale on the scoreboard. They can now go to Dublin with a little bit of confidence, with a full-time score here at the Stadio Monigo that reads Italy 16, Argentina 37.